Hello everyone and welcome to the round 14 wrap up. I want to see all your scores in the chat. I want to see all your questions as well. Thanks everyone for tuning in on this Monday evening. I was just about to say Sunday, then I realized it's public holiday. Hopefully anyone in New South Wales had a good public holiday. It's nice to have a long weekend. Thanks to Cameron, Andrew, Moz as always in the chat, Gary, Dual Position Podcast, had to listen to your stream just before this as well. Good stuff as always. Davey K, Brownie and Spots Adventures, seeing some good scores here. Lots of scores in the 1200s, a few in the 1300s. I think a lot of the popular players did do pretty well this week, so that's definitely why there's some higher scores, I think, than what we've seen in the past other few weeks. So yeah, keep posting the scores, keep posting the questions in. Let me know in the chat, guys. Do you want a poem? I'm not going to do a poem unless we get some kind of interest in a poem. I've got one ready, but I want to see people wanting the poem first. No, I'm joking. I'm overhyping this poem for no good reason. But yeah, I scored 12-19 in the end. As you can see on screen, got absolutely smacked down by Tim Moody in the Podmasters Cup. He's on fire. He's like 103 and he's scored like 1355, I think. He's going to get top 100 and he's absolutely going for back-to-back. So yeah, 12-19 is a little bit on the lower end than what I'm thinking the past score is. Just a couple of decisions and players who didn't underperform for me. So like Payne Haas was one, Lomax was another. A few others like Coruscant were like just under sub 50 as well. But that it was compensated by guys doing well. Olukwatu, what a man. What a man, Olukwatu. He's been a joy to own the last 2 weeks that I've owned him for. Adam Ellie Goat, no. Ellie Goat is not going to be prepped up hard on this stream because I don't own him, Whisperer. For me, it's all about Olukwatu, I think, this week. He's the thumbnail because he has been a treasure since I've owned him the last fortnight or so. So although I will give props to you, Adam Elliott has been actually quite amazing the last like 5-6 weeks for anyone who did jump on him. Olin Mulatalo is another one. Yeah, he went 100 plus. Very, very happy with him as a trade-in. I'm also glad that the three that I kind of thought would do the best, so Graham, Mulatalo and Johnston all did pretty well this week, so at least advice-wise that worked out. Lomax was an underperformer with 43, as you can see on screen. It was a tough matchup coming against the Cowboys, and he really did not play well. Lots of, like a couple of errors. He gave away one of the tries. He threw the ball over the sideline and then was yelling at his winger. I'm like, mate, that's not a great look. So it was a bit of a down week for him. But look, he still managed 43, which is not great, but it's not horrible either. So yeah, a little bit on the lower end, I think, for some of the scores. Hines as well. Yeah, bloody Nico. He can't goal kick. He's missed half his goal kicks and I was just in pain. It wasn't even a -2. It was like the swing. Instead of going +4, he goes -2. So that's a 6-point swing. And then when you've got him as captain, it's even worse. You double it. And then Dylan Brown, the Eels were just awful today as well. So he was going to be one of my, not necessarily massive pods, but a bit of a pod to come in and save the week. But look, he did not do, like the Eels in general were not good. He was pretty poor as well. Round 17 guys, how good are they? How good are they? Eels guys, jump on him. Ezra Mann, what a guy. Didn't play him. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there actually will have quite a lot of points on your bench this week. So I've got Cooler, I've got Karaz, I've got Max King, I've got Leo Thompson who scored 57. I don't know how he did that. Ezra Mann with 79. So like I'd say everyone on my bench scored like better than like at least a third of my actual run on 17. So not ideal that happened. But look, Cameron saying in the chat, a lot of the round 13 guys are doing quite well. A lot of them I don't think are necessarily sold. A lot of the guys like your Olukwatu and Garricks are guns that we can hold on for sure. Some of the round 17 guys like the Sharks did well this week, but a few of the, like the Eels ones, for example, just didn't do that good. Alright, we're going to get into a poem. We'll do a poem to wrap up round 14, and then we'll get to your questions. Might have the stream go for maybe like 40-45 minutes, just because I haven't eaten dinner yet, and I'll probably get hungry by 8:15. So, I thought let's wrap up round 14 with a poem. I feel like it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a poem, so here goes. So the round precursor was Origin 1. For a New South Wales man, the result wasn't fun, so I had to look forward to round 14. Lomax against the Cowboys, I wasn't too keen. I benched Ezra Mann, which caused me some pain, but boy oh boy, some money he is going to gain. Manly versus the Tigers, surely some points here. Hamali Oligoatu, he struck absolute fear. A big ton for the man, and Ruben Garrick too, a guac and Ruben sandwich, get in the queue. The Panthers tore up, just as we thought. The Knights couldn't compete, no matter how much they fought. Prince Nico had the big captaincy, but he could barely convert from the goal-kicking tee. But at least Talakai and Mulatalo scored well. I needed IPAP and Dillbags to put the Dogs under a spell, but instead the Dogs gave a smackdown to the Eels, and no Dillbags masterclass hit me right in the field. Par score for the week, I think, is 1250. I'll probably be seeing red. Let's get to round 15 swiftly. How's that for my round 14 wrap-up poem? That's the poem, guys. Hopefully you enjoy that. I'm going to end the stream there. No, I'm joking. That's the poem. Yeah, so I think 1250 is about par. Slipped it into the poem as well because I took an average of the Podmasters Cup. So I'll quickly show that as well because very, very high performing league. Everyone is doing really well there. So you can see most scores are in the 1200s. Only a few guys were in the 1100s, but a lot of the scores, actually no one is in the 1100s. Oh no, sorry, Sangster was in the 1100s and one other, but a lot of the scores were 1300s. So the average was actually 1276. I did the average on that one. So 1276, so I think par, I'm going to take a bit of a cut on that because a lot of these guys are, very, very good at Supercoach. So I thought 1250 probably seems about par for this week. You need to rap it like Eminem. I'm not a rapper. I can't rap it. I need to deliver. I've got my own style, okay? Eminem is here. I'm here. I can't rap with the enthusiasm. I just have to try to think of some rhyming words. And that's the best I can do. So, poetic genius. Look, someone's calling me a poetic genius. Someone's saying nice one, legendary. Thank you all. But yeah, look, we won't go game by game. We'll just go into some questions, I think, and do what we did last week, which I really preferred, actually, just answering some of your questions, get us thinking about round 15. And remember, TLT is going to be tomorrow for round 15 as well. So it's a quick turnaround from kind of reacting to round 14, what's just happened for this week. So will it be better to use up trades to field enough players for round 17, or if max traded, save some trades for the run home? Yeah, it's a good question. Really good question, Damien. I think I'm in a precarious position as well now. I've got 13 trades up my sleeve. I still, because of my position rank-wise, I'm about 5.8k. I want to try push up into as high as I can, essentially, because I feel like at this point I've got really nothing to lose. Just try to go for it. If you crash and burn, fine. So it definitely is a balancing act. Like I have had 1 week where I saved 2 trades, and I still have 1 boost up my sleeve. If you've completely max traded, like you saved no trades, I would try to park the brakes just a little bit, because I think it will become really important around the round 17 area, because you can always plan for round 17, then injuries can happen, and then you lose your round 17 guys. So I'll try to maybe, if you can, preserve some trades, and then maybe in round 17 use it then, and then you can make a big push, get in all the guys that you might want for that week. So it's a tough question. I think it really is a balancing act, but if you have max traded, I would try to start saving a few for the run home as well. Still interested in Kennedy. Yeah, look, Will Kennedy had a really good game. Sharks' attack was not very fluent for all of the game. There was definitely periods where the Warriors were looking better, but the Warriors just kind of let them back into the game with like penalties and errors. And yeah, Kennedy looked really good. I think that's good for the Sharks' attacking stock. So, for example, both wingers for the Sharks did amazingly well. I think, I went Mulatalo this week. If you went Katoa, obviously very happy with that. You could even just get both of them. I saw Brew on the dual position podcast suggesting he might even go for both, and I don't think that's a bad idea. You're kind of hedging on both sides. Yeah, Kennedy will go down in price though, because obviously he had like a 158 break even. Now looking ahead as well, so we know that they had a really good 3-game stretch. So they've got the Titans coming up next, and then it's the Bulldogs. Now, based on what we saw from the Bulldogs, they're maybe not as easy of an opponent as we thought, but I feel like they also did really step up for this game against the Eels. It's a local rival, so you can still look at that on paper and think that's a pretty easy game. So yeah, I think Kennedy, if you have got the trades, to flip positions in your fullback spot, I don't mind that as a bit of a pod play. I'm struggling with depth though. I've actually got too much depth. We all scored so many points in our non-player reserves. Like my reserves this week were Mulatalo, Talakai, Dylan Brown, and Cameron McInnes. Now I played the likes of Lomax and Coruscant, who maybe in hindsight I could have benched because maybe not Coruscant, but Lomax had a tough game. But still, oh, excuse me, haven't fully quite gotten over my cough yet. But still, I'm struggling with depth. So I don't even know if I did bring in Kennedy, is it worth a trade when I could bring in someone else just to play very easily? So yeah, I know Savs from the SE Experience podcast did bring Kennedy in this week, and he looked really good. And I think with the draw coming up for the rest of the season, he could be one of those options that you bring in to cover round 17. But I think we're all going to want to try to get Pappenhausen. That's my thought. I'm just going to try to prioritize Pappenhausen if I can. So round 15 is what we heard before this week as to when he'll come back. Will remain to be seen. We'll find out tomorrow afternoon if that's the case. And then we'll have to start planning for Pappenhausen. So I'm not sure if I've got the trades to be able to flip to Kennedy. But look, if you've got I think it's a trade question. If you've got those trades to flip to him, I don't mind it because we know that they've got a good short-term run coming up. Looking to free up cash for Pappy. Are we ready to keep? Let me start the question again. I've butchered that. Looking to free up cash for Pappenhausen. Are we ready to cut ties with Tungo or May? Now, selling Tungo or Taylor May, I'm really not trying to do it at all costs if I can, because they're just playing for the best team in the comp, on the best attacking edge of the comp. That left-hand side is so dangerous. So I don't feel comfortable really selling either of them. Both of them did well this week. Now, Tungo's try was a little bit fortuitous. I think the fullback made an error. So, scored 69 points with that. But 57 for Taylor May, who also got a pretty easy try. It's just the fact that we know that they can do it against any opponent. Tungo scored a ton against Melbourne, I'm pretty sure. And I'm just trying to think, I've got plenty of other guys. Aiken, maybe those Carrazas, those Coolers. If I can try to get rid of those guys first, I would like to do it ideally. Now, last week when I said who would I sell out of the two, I said I would sell Tungo, just because I think Taylor May, that left wing spot is it's prime time position, you can say. But I feel they score enough points that both the centre and the wingers are doing well. Matt Burton last season at centre was doing really good for the Panthers. So yeah, long story short, if I had to sell one, probably Tungo. He does have dual status though, but I think maybe you'd sell him. But look, really, I'm trying to keep both if I can. Will Origin players play next round 15, Oliver? Yeah, so next week is a normal week. So round 15 is just a normal week, so all your Origin guys should play. Round 16, there's actually a week gap between round 15 and round 16 because there's a rep round when they have the State of Origin game. So round 16, usually there isn't much rotation because there's enough of a rest period from Origin. And then round 17 is similar to round 13, and then round 18 is similar to what we had for round 14. Hines to Pappy. Nah, look, I know we all are a little bit annoyed with Hines this week with his missed goal kicks and everything, but look, if you watch the game, you'd say he had a pretty quiet game, right? You feel like he didn't do too much. He still scored 61. 61 from a half when it looks like he does nothing. Look, to me, Hines is a season keeper. Whether I can trust captaincy on him again remains to be seen. I know Tommy's asking the question, are we still going to captain Hines against the Titans? I don't think so, because the Panthers have the Warriors this week. So I'm going to captain Cleary, I think, this week. He can goal kick. So yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to be captaining Hines this week. I'm not going to say never again, because I think that's being a bit too reactionary. The guy scored 180. You can't say you don't want to trade him out. But no, I don't like Hines to Pappenhausen at all. I think Hines is a season keeper. I know, Joshua, you're also saying that you might do the same trade. I really don't like that. I think Hines is a season keeper. Let's see. So, pod move for Toto at 560k. Yeah, that's true. I didn't really seriously suggest him, but on Twitter I posted Brian Toto's 544k question mark, and look, he's absolutely smashed it. I think he's got 113 points. He will not get any cheaper than this. I think 545k. He's going to go up to about 560. You can't really see him getting cheaper than that. 560 is when we bought him. So that's the price we paid for him last season, and he was an absolute must. Now, right side is not as good of a side, but I think we saw enough upside again this week against the Knights. So for me, it's difficult. I've got a very stacked centre wing at the moment, but look, Toto's, definitely a good pod move to go for. Now, Bus, you're saying Hines good, but not good Supercoach play style of late. He did look a little bit underwhelming in the sense he wasn't really running the ball a lot. He was just kind of shoveling the ball on, which was a little bit discouraging. So the base was a little bit down. But if you're saying of late, if you look at the scores of late, 51, 82, 50. They are a bit lower, but the guys. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about selling Hines. I think he's shown enough. Hello, Jessica. Welcome. Moz, I don't know where to begin with trades next week. Yeah, my trade situation, I'm also not sure. It would be nice to hold trades, but there's a couple of guys I think with injuries now on my team I might need to look at. So Payne Haas is a big one. So I'm about 20 minutes into the Magic Sponge podcast. I'll probably finish that up tonight, and I'm keen to hear what they say about Payne Haas. But it seems as though he had a right shoulder AC injury, and previously he was left shoulder, so he's essentially got kind of like two bust shoulders now. So we'll have to see what the fallout is. Reduced minutes, etc. Now, it probably is an argument to sell. If you want to upgrade to like a Clem for round 17, Joe Tarpany from the Raiders has been a monster in the last few weeks as well. So, yeah, look, there's an argument maybe to sell Haas, but with Max King, if Max King continues to perform like this, I'm thinking, do I just like sit Haas, play Max King, and try to focus my trades elsewhere? Because really, with my trades, I want to try to get Harry Grant, Ryan Pappenhausen, and probably Tedesco. Those are the three big guys who I really want to try to get back into my team after the Origin period. And I'm on 13 trades at the moment, so I'm going to have to obviously do trades to make money and all that kind of thing as well. So yeah, it's a little bit of a thing where I'm thinking I might just sit Haas and leave him. Have I seen Hines draw from round 15? The Sharks, to my knowledge, have one of, if not one of the best runs for the rest of the season. That's probably another reason why I wouldn't even think about it. So, like, if you look at it from round 18, like you're saying, it's tough. Yeah, fine. You've got, look, in round 17, it's Melbourne without their Origin stars. Hines might not even play that anyway because he might be 18th man. Penrith and the Cowboys, yes, 18-19 is tough. But then after that, Rabbitohs is fine. Dragons, Tigers, Manly, Bulldogs, Knights. That's one of the best runs home for the rest of the season. So, no, he's not a sell. I'm gonna leave it at that with Hines. Reports that Lomax could be sent to Reggie's. I did also see this, that there is some talk that he could be dropped to Reggie's for a week due to his poor form. Now, look, they could do that to send a statement, but my counter argument is, like, you find he had an off day, but he's also one of their better players. So I feel like they're just kind of like harming themselves by doing it. But look, they could do it to send a message. I think I've got enough depth in my team to cover that. But yeah, that's actually another person we should talk about is Talakai. So the talk is that I've also read, this is from the Fox Sports like team tips article that they released, I think, earlier today. Now, it's not inside, they might have some inside knowledge, obviously, from journalism. But the talk is that Talakai might get suspended for missing this court appearance. Now, originally, the SuperCoach website had posted that he was going to be out for 2 weeks. This team tips article was saying maybe just the 1 week. Or actually, sorry, it wasn't even saying that. It was just saying Talakai is due to be suspended, so it could be for 2 weeks. Now, if Talakai is out for 2 weeks, he'll miss round 15 and round 16, but he'll be back for round 17, which is the round that we really want him for. So I'd probably hold him. And look, he scored well this week. I think he's shown enough solid scores. We saw earlier this season he absolutely killed it. And with that run home that we just pointed out with the Sharks, I do think that Talakai still hold if you are thinking about maybe selling, if it is true that he is out for the next 2 weeks. If Hines kicks 4 more out of his 5 missed, he gets 85, and no one is discussing him as a sell. That's the thing. Like how many? I don't even know how many goal kicks he missed. I don't know why we're talking about Nico Hines so much. Like, he was the most captain player, and he didn't do that well. Oh, sorry, I went to the wrong screen. So he had minus 10. So he missed 5 goals. Yeah, if you add in 3 of them, instead of going minus 10, he's going minus 4. Yes, minus 4, and you add in 12 points. So that's what's that? 12 plus 6, 18 points. That's an extra, 18 points. You're going like 79 points or something like that. I don't know. That's some quick math top of my head. If he scores 79, you're probably not considering him a sell. So it's really just goal kicking. And that's kind of the difference between him and Cleary. Cleary, I think, missed 1 goal kick all game. And I think Cleary got an extra like line break assist. But there really wasn't that much between the two of them. So no Hines sell talk, I think, in my opinion. Someone's asking about when Pappenhausen is due to be back. So reports for last week were round 15, so this coming round. But then I also read that there's no certainty that he's back this week. So I think we'll have to wait and see. 4 o'clock tomorrow at TLT. Haas to Lolo. Yeah, so Tamalolo, look, doesn't cover round 17, but he's a cheap price. And the last 2 weeks, now it's a tricky one because the last 2 weeks he hasn't had like Ruben Cotter playing alongside him. So I feel like he's had to play more minutes and take more of the load, and he's been killing it as well. But I think, look, the fact that he's dual, he'd be like maybe, 452k with a break even of 62. So he'll probably jump up about 10, 15k. So he's still going to be a cheap price. I don't mind that. The only thing with Haas, though, is that he's going to be really cheap now. He's going to be like mid 500s. I feel like selling Haas at that price, I'm not getting the value out of him. If he was like in the 600s, I would say it's probably a bit more palatable. But at that price, I feel like maybe I can just afford to sit him. And Max King, being the legend that he is, if he keeps like playing these minutes, maybe they keep TPJ off the bench, then I really like Max King maybe as cover. So yeah, a few people asking about Tarpany, maybe Talakai to Tarpany. I don't think Talakai is a sell if he's back for round 17, and with the Sharks' really good run home for the rest of the season. Aitken to Tarpany, yeah, I think Aitken, his time's probably coming up as well. So we discussed him last week. I think he was lower on my end of sells, but now it looks like he's got a bit of an injury, so we'll have to see what happens there. Low score as well, so he's probably at peak price now as well. So yeah, he definitely could be moved on. There's not a lot of good like 2RFs for round 17. There's a lot of good center wings. So if you've got Aiken in your center wing, that's a good spot to sell him in. You know, you've got your Mulitalos, your Grahams, Katoas, your Lomaxes, your Talakais. There's a lot of good options there that you can consider. But yeah, I don't think Talakai is really a sell. I know a few people are asking about it. Someone's asked about Pat Carrigan. Carrigan, like, he won't cover round 17 because of Origin, but he is a weapon. He is so good. Like, backs up from Origin and absolutely kills it. And if Payne Haas is out for some time, then you're going to have, like, Carrigan will play bigger minutes. So he will be a good option. He is second row forward, so he could be actually someone you can consider for second row forward, but again, won't cover round 17. But I do like him as an option, especially if he does get these increased minutes, because he's one of those guys that minutes for him doesn't seem to really kill his PPM. He's just like a constant worker. So that's one really good thing about him. And I remember in 2020, when he was first in the team for SuperCoach, he was a really good like kind of cash cow option as well. So someone's saying, yeah, Haas to Carrigan. It's hard to talk about the Haas out ones. I think with the two bung shoulders, it probably could be worth a sell. But my counter argument potentially is it worth using trades on front row forward? If you've got a suitable replacement like Max King, who's been killing it, could just be easy just to cover him. Unless obviously you're going down in price. But if you're going Haas to Carrigan, I think selling Haas, you probably have to do it with the knowledge that you're probably not going to get him back later in the season, which could be okay. Front row forward's not really a position that will hurt you too badly. But I kind of want to just get some better injury updates on Haas. So I'll have to listen to the rest of Physio's Magic Sponge podcast. And you will see, we'll get some news about that probably tomorrow as well with TLT. You got Dillbags this week and captained him. Ooh, that's rough. So yeah, there was some talk with Dillbags about having this ankle issue, and so he obviously overcame it and played, but it still feels like it wasn't 100%. He also got a big hit from TPJ early in the game where I think he rolled over his ankle a little bit, so he was barely running the ball, and that's his biggest strength really. So without his running game, it's not ideal for him for SuperCoach. So yeah, not great. I know a lot of people did think about getting Dillbags in this week for the Bulldogs game, but the Bulldogs just turned up and Eels were just awful. So yeah, a bit of an unfortunate trade in there. Like, you're going to hold Dylan Brown now, I think, though. Do I think that the Bulldogs can repeat today's performance? Yeah, for sure. Like, they've got a really good combo going. Like, Matt Burton has been really, really excellent. Him and Addo-Carr had a great combination. Addo-Carr looks like he's just, ever since he's been dropped from the Blues, he's just been on an absolute tear as well. So yeah, no, there's definitely a chance that they can repeat it. We just, based on recent evidence, we've just seen them be more inconsistent than consistent. So I still think that they're a team that you can target. I have a feeling just with this game, with the local rivalry of the Eels, I feel like they would, there's that kind of, in a sense, that they would maybe step up for that game a little bit more. But in other games, maybe not quite, and they can still kind of, get a bit more inconsistent. You traded in both Ronaldo and Katoa. I'm not sure, Arnav, if you're suggesting that as a question for the next coming week, or if you did that move. If you did that move this week, that is an awesome move because they both killed it. Okay, hello. Let me know if you can hear me. Sorry, I think the internet just dropped out for a second there. Okay, I think it looks like I'm back. Apologies. I think we just had a bit of a minor hiccup with the internet. Apologies. Sydney internet, how good is it? I think someone in my house might have started streaming something and it's just kind of tripped up a little bit. Cool. Baby, come back to me. I'm back, Nathan. Oh my goodness. The viewers dropped as well, which is a little bit annoying. It's really frustrating when that happens because a lot of people will jump off. Look, understandably as well. But anyway, back to the question. So drink water. Yeah, the one that got away. I don't know if I can get back to drink water. He'll be a nice option to flip to Pappenhausen. But in terms of the run home, someone was asking about it. It's up and down. I'd say it's largely good, actually. I'm looking at it now. Like, the only really team I'm scared about there is Penrith, and even then, that's in round 25. Otherwise, the run home's solid. Roosters in round 22, Rabbitohs in round 24, but outside of that, Sharks in 18. There's a few tougher games, but there's not that many bad ones. So, yeah, Drinkwater's a tough one. Do you sell him for Pappenhausen? If Pappenhausen's back fit, and he's not playing Origin and he's back in round 17, you probably do sell him. But geez, that's a good run home. He might be someone I consider actually, if for example I can't get to Tedesco for whatever reason, and he doesn't look as good, but Drinkwater's still keeping up. Maybe I run with Drinkwater and Pappenhausen as my two fullbacks for the run home. Something to think about. But yeah, no, whoever was asking that question, I'll scroll up a little bit earlier. I think it was Tommy. Yeah, it's a really good run home, and yeah, I think he has been a really good second 5'8". Could be one that you just, like, the way that he's scoring, there's no big reason to sell him apart from the buys. What about bringing Moylan? No, I actually did have a quick think about Moylan because I saw he was super cheap. The problem is that I saw his average. It's about 37, and I think in a fullback and 5'8" spot, you're not really gonna want that. Like, he's had a big game this week, sure. But his highest score before that this season was 63, and then it was a 50. I don't think I really want that from my 5'8" or fullback. So, yeah, I feel like that's chasing points a little bit. Although, he looked really good that game. He was definitely taking on more of the attacking plays and ball playing than Nico was. How was my Portuguese burger from a few days ago? Oh, it was so good. It was a good burger. But even better than the burgers are chips. My local charcoal chicken shop, their hot chips are some of the best chips I've ever had. Chicken salt, super crispy. Oh, so good. Getting hungry now. You currently have Cotter and Grant in your hooker position, and you've got trades up your sleeve. Should you trade for someone like McInnes to cover for Origin 2 and 3? Yeah, it's a tough one. I think if you've got trades up your sleeve, then sure, because the difficult thing is now that Grant will go down in price, though, because he scored 51. He's going to go down massively, and I feel like you're losing, obviously, some of the money now selling him. But I guess he'll still be like 700-ish K, so you can still get quite a good amount of bang for your buck in selling him. So, yeah, I think Cotter, I would maybe Cotter to McInnes you could do. I think we kind of discussed that in the video just the last few days. I don't mind doing Cotter to McInnes to cover. If it's purely a coverage question, then I think you can sell Cotter. If you're trying to do it and make the money, then I would sell Grant instead. But because Grant, though, really you're going to want him for the rest of the season. He's one of my top targets, I think, after the bye period. What to do with Gutherson? Oh, yeah, he would have been really frustrating. What did he score again today? Like 35. He's not the same as what he was last season. Last season, he had periods where he was a really good option. And I thought coming into this bye period, he would be one. 96, 83, 47. But he's had more, like an average of 60. I don't know. I feel like if you've got him, you'd probably just hold on to him for round 17. And then just flip him then. Yeah, he's been, I think it's a frustrating one, but I feel like it's one that you kind of just need to hold firm with. 3 more weeks until round 17, and then after round 18 you can maybe look to move him to like a Tedesco or something like that. So disappointed you put the captaincy on Munster this week. Yeah, that's a big call. I didn't personally want to go for any Storm or Roosters players, just given the tough matchup, and also there was those question marks about about Harry Grant and Munster backing up from Origin. So I feel like it's always a bit of a risk with them too. Now Cleary, we luckily got some information kind of prior to the match, about 24 hours beforehand, when we saw that Kurt Ford and Sean O'Sullivan got cut, that kind of gave us a good indication that Cleary was going to play. And they don't really have they didn't really have anyone on their bench to play halfback, I guess. So he played the full 80 and he absolutely killed it. So, but look, in hindsight, it's not, I don't want to play hindsight hero and say, it was a bad decision to captain Munster. But yeah, that's something to think about. I think just moving forward, picking these Origin guys after they're backing up can be a little bit more tricky. But look, equally Cleary did well, so it's not a massive thing, I think. Bring in Ezra Mam, what a guy. 79 points he scored. He's going to make us, according to SuperCoach Guns, or should I say Ezra Mam's number one fan, he's going to make about 137k this week, which is awesome. He looks really good. He did come off, I think, at the very end of the game with the HIA, so we'll have to see if he plays next week, but I'd say he probably has a good chance of playing. But they've got Melbourne this week, so you're probably not going to want to even play him in your 17. But yeah, look, should make us a lot of money. He'll still have a big negative break even coming into this week, and yeah, it could still be even a buy this week, but I do feel like this week was the week if he's going to go up over 100k now. Amanda, almost. You added 2 extra letters, but I'll allow it. You don't have Cleary. Is he still a buy? Ooh, what's Cleary's price? I feel like I haven't looked at his price in a while. So he's got 106. So he will go down in price. So he'll be sub 800k. Oh man, I mean, any time to get Cleary when he's got the Warriors this week. He's got the Warriors. Goodness me. And then he's got, Cleary is just one of those guys, eh? Yeah, Cleary is always a buy. I think Cleary is always a buy. And you're getting him a bit cheaper than most others have. So yeah, look, with the Warriors matchup this week, I think that he will be the most captain player. I'm going to captain him probably. So yeah, I think he's still a buy, to answer your question. You traded out Lolo a couple of weeks ago. Do I bring him back for Talakai? No, Fowler, we kind of discussed this earlier. I don't like the Talakai sell. I know it looks like he could be out for 2 weeks, but I think if he was missing round 17, I'd probably say, yeah, you can maybe get away with selling. But if he's covering round 17, I kind of just want to keep him for that. But I do like getting in Lolo. I think he's been really killing it. Maybe his scores might get reduced a little bit with Cotter coming back for the next couple of weeks. But then again, in round 18, he's probably going to have to play big minutes. And Cowboys run home, as we just saw, is looking really good. Has he even scored a try yet this season, Tamalolo? Because I feel like he hasn't, and he's gone close quite a few times. So he definitely can push to get some of those 100+ scores soon as well. Any news on Haas's injury? So I was kind of talking about it before. I kind of want to hear the rest of NRL Physio's Magic Sponge podcast, which is really good. He wraps up most of the injuries, almost all injuries that happened during the NRL weekend. So I want to see what he says about Haas. My understanding is it's a right shoulder AC injury, which is what he had in his left shoulder. So he was able to play through it. It's just kind of a pain management thing, but having 2 bung shoulders, not ideal. So yeah, I think if he's out for a couple of weeks, then it's probably okay to sell him. If he's going to play, but he's kind of getting managed, if you've got a suitable replacement like Max King, I'd maybe just play Max King over him and save the trade, just because front row forward is not really a lot of value, unless you're trading down, and then you're getting some money to upgrade maybe elsewhere. Does Aiken miss games with the second HIA in a few weeks? Yeah, that's the thing. He I think, did he miss that? No, he played the last game. He got a HIA. This week, yeah, we'll have to see what the turnaround is as well. But yeah, I think Aiken probably can be sold because he won't cover round 17. So yeah. Thoughts on Adam Elliott? Yeah, you'll have to knives and forks. You'll have to redirect this question to the SC Whisperer. He is the expert in Adam Elliott, but no, he's been absolutely killing it the last few weeks. The Raiders themselves looked a lot better, although they couldn't quite finish the job against the Broncos in the second half. But yeah, he's been on an absolute tear. I don't love it now just because he'll be in the 500k, and I feel like go for a round 17 guy instead. That's just my early thoughts. Who can you sell Hastings to? You already have Ezra Mann. I don't even know what Hastings scored this week. What did he score? 21. Ugh, yuck. Not great. And you already have Ezra Mann. Do you have duels by any chance to maybe get like a Will Kennedy? Who's probably around the same price. He might be an option. In halfback and 5'8" spot, though, there's not a lot, really. You can maybe sell, if you've got Hastings in your 5'8", you can maybe get like a Cody or a Dylan Brown. In your halfback spot, there's not really a lot. I guess if you've got Ezra, then I guess you could maybe swap the two. Yeah, there's not a lot of options, Frank. I'd have to maybe have a think about that more. Yeah, there's not a lot of great options. Someone was talking about Matt Moylan before, but I really don't like him either that much. Burton has been killing it, maybe. But if you're looking at round 17, you'd have to look at the Rabbitohs, so Cody. You'd have to look at the Dragons. You can't even go for Ben Hunt because of Origin. Storm, maybe Jerome Hughes. So it really depends also on your money situation as well. At a rough glance, what are you looking at for trades this week? Yeah, so I'll quickly get into some trades and we'll answer a few more questions. I think we'll probably cap the stream off at about 45 minutes just because I need to kind of get some other stuff done this evening. So yeah, in terms of my trades, it really depends on maybe what happens with, like, say, Payne Haas and also Pappenhausen news. What I could do is I could maybe sell Aitken. So Grant Anderson from the Storm, he's listed in the center wing. He might be heavily bought because he scored like 84 points. And he could be an okay option that in round 17, if they lose... will they lose any of their backline players for Origin? Kafusi is in the forwards, although Kafusi could arguably be out as well. Or should be out. So maybe Grant Anderson could be enough option because when the Storm are fully fit, he's not going to be in their 17 or at all, so he won't be in auto emergency as well. But yeah, in terms of trades, I really don't know, Tommy. Like, I think it kind of also depends on Kula and Karaz, what the kind of price they get to and their break-evens. Can I maybe fork out a little bit extra cash from them? Because what I could do is maybe sell one of them down to Grant Anderson in a couple of weeks to make some money. And then maybe I can upgrade. I don't know where I'd upgrade. I'd probably upgrade, I'd have to upgrade Kula to like Pappenhausen, which would take a lot of money. And so I might fund that by selling maybe Aitken. Like, in my head, what I could do, this is not necessarily for this week, but more future weeks. I can maybe sell you and Aitken down for like a Trent Peoples. So Trent Peoples, if Cam Murray and Arrow are out for Origin, if Trent Peoples is back in the Rabbitohs squad for round 17, he won't be an auto emergency in the future because he's not even in the 17 at all. So I might bring him in for that week just to create funds. So I could do maybe Aitken down to a Trent Peoples, maybe a Karaz and a Kula down to like that Anderson guy. And maybe that gives me enough money for Pappenhausen. That's kind of my thoughts. But yeah, the thing with Anderson is that Eremaya and Meany will be on the wings. And I feel like Eremaya is above Anderson. And yeah, Olam and Seve won't play Origin. So yeah, it really only depends if Pappenhausen, I guess, plays Origin. So yeah, he's probably not an option to consider for round 17, but it could just be enough option. But I feel like if you're going to go for a straight enough, probably just go for someone who's got dual status as well. So yeah, I really don't know with trades. Apologies, Tommy. I'd have to think about it. Maybe Payne Haas out as well. Because yeah, ultimately what I want to do with my team is Coruscant for Grant, Kula and Karaz and like, you know, your Aikens for a Pappenhausen, and then maybe a Tedesco, or maybe even a Drinkwater for the run home. So yeah, that's my thoughts at the moment. I could just hold trades this week because I think I've got enough depth that even if Haas was out, I'd play Max King, and then if Talakai's out, I'll chuck the reserve on even a Karaz. Karaz will have the Tigers coming up this week, so I feel like he could be a perfectly fine option to play. Yeah, so I feel like I've got depth that I can maybe still hold trades this week, even if I have a couple of injuries. So yeah, not really sure too much on trades at the moment. Bring in Latrell Mitchell. So Jessica, the talk is actually that Latrell might not even play again this week because he's had COVID, so he's not been able to train properly. He's only played 4 games all season. He's not fully fit. So apparently some of the talk is that he might not even play this week. So I think, won't be bringing in Latrell unless he's... I'd want to see a couple of games of Latrell, I think. The problem with Latrell is that the run home for the Rabbitohs is very tough from round 19 onwards. So I feel like if you bring him in, you might want to trade him out again later. So yeah, I'm not sure how much I'd be looking at Latrell coming up. bring in Johnston for AJ Brimson, or is his price going to cap? So yeah, Alex Johnston has been on fire the last few weeks, kind of a replica of what he was doing at the back end of last season when he was absolutely killing it. So he's about 600 something K now, so he's quite expensive. I mentioned in my video, I think he's one of those guys who's got the highest ceiling, but come end of the season when they've got tough games, you're going to have to trade him out again because he's got low base. Whereas someone like Campbell Graham has got really solid base. I'm pretty sure Campbell Graham had a base of like 48 this week, something ridiculous. So I feel like Campbell Graham, you can still capitalize on him for the really good draw coming up, but then you can also rely on him for the back end of the season, even in the tough games, where I feel like Alex Johnston, in those games, Rabbitoh's still not really clicking. So yeah, I'm not too keen on Alex Johnston unless you've got trades to be able to bring him in and out. Tungo for To'o and Tedesco for Pappy. I don't think I'd be selling Tedesco now. Like, he's got Parramatta this week, and look, based on what we saw with Parramatta this week, he can definitely score well. Now, Tungo for To'o, it just feels a little bit sideways. That's all I'd say. I feel like those are two sideways trades. Like, those are guys I'd be keeping. I'd be trying to add Pappy and To'o to them, not replacing them. So yeah, it's a bit. I feel like those moves are a bit sideways. After this week, the Cooler vs Karaz debate on who to sell only made it harder. Yeah, look, they both scored I think identical. But look, they both made money. I know it's a bit frustrating that they're on our non-playing reserves, but realistically, I was never going to play them. So I'm not really too upset about it. If anything, I'm happy that they're going to actually make some cash at this point in time, which is good. I need more money so I can eventually get to Pappenhausen. Alright, we'll give it a couple more minutes, guys, and I think we're probably going to end it there. So we'll answer 2 more questions. So a couple more questions come in. And they'll probably wrap up the stream there, I think. Suwali for Cleary. Yeah, I like it. Although I think the right wing spot to the Eels actually score quite well. So Suwali could be an option this week, but yeah, if you're going Suwali to Cleary, Suwali's got Penrith next week, so it's pretty tough. Cleary's Cleary. Yeah, I think that's a good move, Jaden. I don't know how you can do that by duels and the cash, but you obviously can afford it. So I like it. Worried about Dylan Brown. Yeah, it was not a good performance, was it? He obviously was coming in with a bit of an injury cloud, and then his running wasn't the best, and then he got a big hit from TPJ, which I think rolled his ankle a little bit as well. So yeah, look, I think if you've got him now, you kind of hold for round 17 at least, maybe reassess. The solace is in a game where the Eels looked awful. They scored he was involved in no attacking points at all, really, and he scored 40. If his floor is 40, I'll take it. I was telling the Whisper about this as well. If you look at Cody Walker in comparison, Cody Walker had 2 try assists, a try contribution, and 3 line break assists, and he scored 59 points. I'm like, does the man do any tackling at all? Does he have any base stats? He scored all those attacking stats, and he scored 59 points. Dylan Brown did basically nothing, and got 20 points less. That's the thing. Dylan Brown, he's got that high floor. So yeah, I feel like he's fine. It's not a good performance this week, but I feel like surely the Eels can't play any worse than that. You would think so anyway. So I think a bit of a worry about this week, but I think we can kind of maybe, he's shown enough I think this season, but we can maybe hold him a little bit more. How many players do we want going into the final rounds? Yeah, it's a good question. I think a squad of about 22 seems pretty good, or 21. So you've got a strong 17, and then you've got maybe good backups in about 3 of the positions, and then 1 option after. So about 20, 21 is what you said, probably sounds about right. But I wouldn't go too crazy on the nuffs as well. Maybe 2 or 3 nuffs, maybe, I think. Is Crichton a season keeper, or is he just a stepping stone for Murray post-Origin? I think he's a season keeper. Look, he scored 55 this week, but it was against Melbourne. So, yeah, look, it's a pretty good floor. He's a SuperCoach gun of the past, so yeah, I'm happy enough with him, I think, for the rest of the season. That was kind of the thoughts around buying him in round 13. Alright, guys, going to end it there. I know there's a couple of other questions that have come in, but we'll any questions as well, leave them in the comments, and I can use them as well to kind of use to discuss in this week's video. So yeah, stay tuned for that one. I'm going to end the stream there, guys. Got some stuff to do this evening. Gonna have some dinner as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a good score for round 14. And yeah, thank you. Someone just said that my video is really helpful. Thank you. Really appreciate that a lot. But yeah, gonna end the stream there. Catch you on the next one.